Hello, Christoph.
Hello.
The first question I would like to ask is, you have mentioned several times the keywords context or contextualization in your workshop. Can you elaborate this term more from the perspective of a dramaturg?
I will try. First, context is something. Usually, if you talk about context within dramaturgy, you mean the context of a play. For instance, you stage a play in a very conventional in a classical understanding of dramaturgy. You would, as a dramaturg, talk about the context of a play. So, which means under which circumstances this play was written, what kind of biography does the playwright belong to, and so on and so on. Since the theater development in the last years, since a performative, so-called performative turn, many different kind of theater forms emerged. The concept of context changed considerably. And I think from a today's point of view, the context is the context describes the very simple, the society where a certain place relates to, a certain performance relates to. So as a dramaturg, you would ask always for the connection between theater and reality, to put it in very general terms. Or to put it easier, you would always ask, why do you stage a certain play at a certain moment in a certain place? And you have to work on this, or to think about, or to share thoughts about this question, which involves as well to think about the urban context, the urban memory, to make it concrete, where a certain play is staged in. So what does it mean if we take a play, say, like we had in the workshop, a play by a Singaporean playwright, Thank you. Sorry for my bad pronunciation. So if we take this play, so the question would be, what does this mean in the Hong Kong context if we tell this story here and now today? And this is what I try to refer very much in my work.
Okay. In your experience as a professional dramaturg, what is the ideal relationship with a director in the creative process? What is your experience?
Yeah, interesting questions. Maybe there is never an ideal relationship between director and dramaturg. But if I may develop a vision, I think one important aspect is that the relation starts early, which means it starts from the very beginning of thinking about what we are doing. So I would always, or I'm always happy if me as a dramaturg or any dramaturg does not join in at the moment, for instance, when the rehearsal starts, or even later, or just the moment before the rehearsal starts, to make just some remarks on the concept, but really from the very beginning, let's say from the first thought. What are we doing? What do we want to do? What kind of play do we want to stage if we talk about a play, or what kind of topic do we want to address with the performance we are going to develop? So this would, I think, an important part. And then, of course, the most productive is if it is a partnership. So if there are, if the dramaturg is not somehow a sort of assistant in terms of providing the background of literature, or doing somehow the research and bringing the books and telling what should be read and what will never be read during a production process. But if it is really, if a dialogue starts, if a dialogue between director and dramaturg starts, and if from this dialogue a project somehow emerges. And furthermore, in the rehearsal process, if I think ideal or a good or productive way, if there is continuously an exchange, a dialogue about what is going to happen, a sharing of thoughts, and so that would be maybe ideal.
Okay. Then I would like to ask if, unfortunately, we cannot afford to have a dramaturg to work with us. So, do you think, are there any other possible solution or remedies that can help the director to work in the absence of a dramaturg?
Yeah, actually, sure, because it is, maybe the important thing is dramaturgy is not so much a method, and even though if it is in Germany and in other countries a profession, and even though I'm a dramaturg, so to say, I think what the approach, the dramaturgical approach, is rather a certain way of thinking, dramaturgical thinking, and on the other hand, it's a practice. Okay. It's something quite practical, even though it's considered to be very theoretical sometimes. It's quite practical. It's about, as I pointed out before, it's about the dialogue. So, and this dialogue basically can share everybody who is in the production team, as long as he is really interested and as long as he is accepted by the director. I think this is quite important. Sometimes it happens that the stage designer really is just focused on the stage design, and the musician does the music, and he, of course, he looks, but he does not really take part in the process as a whole. He does just his part. And I think the dramaturgical approach would be, if the dramaturg or the musician, if he thinks in a dramaturgical way, if he follows the rehearsals or already, of course, the conceptual development process, if he follows them from the point of view which is not focused only on the stage and on the design, taking the example of a stage designer, but contributing to the whole appearance of the performance. Okay. And I think this would be possible everywhere where a directing team is constituted as a team, where they really work together as a team. And then there's this kind of...
that means, sometimes that may be a collective group from the cast or from the designers.
Of course, of course. I think the important thing is that it has to be something in the team who is able to keep a certain distance.
Yeah. So, another question is about your observations after a whole week of intensive workshops. Did you find any area or subject matter that our young theatre practitioners are really concerned about in their works?
Yes, indeed. This was very interesting for me, and there was for sure one huge topic which was somehow addressed explicitly or implicitly by all of them, and this is the matter of language, which means the specific situation of language in Hong Kong, with the specific role of the Cantonese, an unclear situation of the language between written and oral language. So this was one issue, and this connected with English and Putonghua. So this three languages and how they are related, and how this issue of the Cantonese within this three-lingual situation, how this is connected to the issue of identity. This was the other huge issue, which was actually expressed through this discourse on language. And I'm actually, I observed a quite political concern within all the groups, so a highly developed political awareness of the current situation in Hong Kong. So everybody was discussing, of course, this situation 1 year after the umbrella movement. What are we going to do? What is the perspective of the future? And I'm quite curious about what role the theatre will play within this movement of reflection on what is happening currently in Hong Kong.
Okay. So, do you think that our concerns on language and identity is it different from other area like mainland China or
Yes.
Taiwan?
Yes.
In what way there
Well,
are other differences?
It's for me. It's quite somehow. It's difficult, of course, to talk about languages which I do not understand. I only experience the sound, and I refer to the discourse on the language. But in China, it's very different because there is a notion of self-confidence about the language, which is somehow linked to the self-confidence that this is Chinese, and there is sometimes this self-confidence, this language which is lasting so long and has been always there and is always a point of reference and not a point of somehow insecurity, so to say. And not at all a point which was actually mentioned as well of what could vanish somehow. So this discourse on language was somehow linked as well to the issue of the vanishing language, of the danger or the potential that this could somehow disappear. This is not at all the case in China.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. It's my pleasure.